Hello and welcome to this week's episode of the Party Invite podcast. I am your host Tegan, and I'm joined as always by Vilos and Obsydianyte.
Hi.
Hello.
Hi.
And we're here to discuss video games. We're here at Party Invite because we love to bring people together over our common love of games, whether we're talking, watching, or playing together. There's always good to be found in the world of games. So, with that, we like to start a lot of these episodes with Blissen Up. Gaming or non-gaming, we like to talk about the things that made us smile. Sid, you've got a big one that I'd love to hear about. A big gaming update.
Yes. I'm so excited. And big is correct because, oh my gosh, y'all, over the weekend, I built a new PC with my friend Devin /MediaMits over at the KC Game On. It was so much fun to do. You can actually check out the video at youtube.com/@DevinDoesTech, Devin with an O, not an I. And it was just such a process because it's been 9 years since I've had anything new. Daphne was 9 years old. So this new computer, Calliope, is a beast. Oh my gosh. She is huge. She comes up to like almost my knee, honestly. And I'm 5'8". So like she's for the initiated, the educated or whatever in PC parts. She's the Leon Lee 011 case. So if you see that on the shelf, like go to Micro Center or whatever your tech store is, go look at that shelf. That's how big she is. She's huge and she's powerful and she's quiet. Oh, she's so quiet. My cat's water fountain is louder than she is. That's how quiet she is.
And what's her name? Calliope?
Calliope, after the Greek muse of poetry.
Did you like that, Vilos? The Greek muse of poetry. That's a great...
Calliope, ooh.
Oh my gosh, the many personas of the gaming PC. I love it. You got the colors going on in there. You told us a little bit about what you're packing. You got the MMV drives, the fancy pants ones that are even faster than the solid state.
Yeah, those, like I never even heard of those before I built Calliope. I was just like, what is an NVMe drive? Like, what is that? But apparently it's faster than solid state. And I'm just like, okay, sure, yeah.
They're real fast. I store my videos on my NVMe, and boy, I mean, they just transfer in no time at all. It's fantastic. Well, I'm excited for you. New PC is always a big change.
Yeah, I can't wait to game on her because like I don't have anything installed yet. I've been setting up all of my like other stuff, like my media stuff first, because those are the important things I want to get out the way. So
well, I tell you what, mine is adjacent. I don't have a fancy video to show it off, but I finally set up that gaming desk that I have had sitting on my floor forever in a box. I'm thrilled to have that thing set up because like here when I nudge my table, you get to see my camera go all crazy. Yeah, it feels like a nice upgrade. It feels sort of like I live in this room now. I mean, as you can see behind me, there is still nothing on the walls, so it's one step at a time. But yeah, so you got a PC, I got a desk. Now I gotta transfer stuff over a little bit, but I'm thrilled to be working towards like feeling like I have a professional gaming space. Because this table I'm on right now ain't it. It's it works. And that's all it does.
Coming at you live from the earthquake capital.
Right. Oh, and it's a sit-stand desk, so I can actually stand up and not like destroy my knees like I'm probably doing right now. So,
I was recently introduced to like the joys of having a stand-up, desk that like automates between like electronically. I was like, that's super cool, and I think it's ergonomic too, like better for your posture, like in the long run.
Yeah, sitting all day is not good for you. And I have mostly only sat this entire weekend that we're recording. We were playing some community Halo last night, and I stepped out of my chair at one point, almost ate it because
oh no,
it's like it's not even that my legs were asleep. It was just that I had my knees in the same weird locked up position for so long that when I stood up, I was like, oh, I'm too old for this. I can't do this anymore.
The good old shrimp back.
Oh man,
that's why I always say to my chat, stretch your legs and bend your knees. Like whenever I go like BRB or whatever, because you gotta take care of you before you can take care of me. Because we are old gamers, y'all. We can't be sitting here like we used to.
Scary. And Vilos, what's up? What's good with you?
Yeah, I'm gonna go along with the new things side of the conversation here. so I'm gonna jump on the dock here to my. I've been buying some quality of life essentials, kind of in in my prospective hopes of getting a new place. I don't have set things in stone.
So
But
where in Seattle are you moving?
You know what?
The temptation.
Yeah, right.
There's a lot of people up
it's
here.
like right there. So I'm just like slowly gathering up some little things that just make daily life better, especially since 9 times out of 10 I don't have a good reason to leave my apartment. It sucks leaving my apartment because I'm on the 7th floor, so like everything is such a chore.
You got to bend those knees, you know.
Yeah, dude, just walking down the 7 flights hurts in itself. Like the impact on your knees is the worst.
You need some better shoes.
You need to go
no,
running.
it's just concrete the whole way down, and it's absolutely painful. If I wear my hiking boots, it's actually slightly better feeling than my athletic shoes are.
Oh God.
Yeah, I was about to say, because like I've seen your legs. Well, like we went to that festival or whatever at the museum, and like I've seen you in person outside of the desk environment, and you have like athletic looking legs, like you could play soccer or something. Yeah, they're good legs. They're not like the Tyson chicken tenders. They're like the ones that you can get, like they're name brand. I mean, outside of Tyson, they're real chicken. It's real meat, y'all. That's what I'm trying to say.
But outside of the quality of my legs, the quality of my life is slightly getting better. You know, like I picked up like it's the little shit that most everybody already has. You know, I mean, I'm sitting in this
toilet paper.
What might as well be a studio apartment, but it's
machine.
not. You know what? No.
Horrible critics like me.
Wow. No, I bought a little magnetic spice rack that I actually picked up from Whole Foods today.
Oh, cute.
That's like it was two separate racks. One of them I went ahead and put my spices on. The other one I actually put all my new teas on because I'm becoming a tea person now. I'll definitely talk about that
welcome
later.
to the club. Yes. Yeah. Have I got some recommendations for you? Oh my God.
Oh, yeah, I kind of have a lot already right now. But just
I said
little
what
things,
I said.
little things like that, though, is just making stuff better in general for me. I bought some really cute dishcloths that, like, again, it's just little things that make everything better. Because I'm really against, using paper products. So I seriously buy, like, one thing of paper towels for like 2 months, and I make them last.
I'll get some
things like that.
Get some cloth napkins if you'd like. We use paper towels and napkins, and it's nice. We have like pizza Fridays every Friday, and just having like those are the only times we usually need those napkins. You just throw them in the wash. We have like a dozen of them, and it's nice.
And see that's the thing. I would, and again, this is all based on my future move,
right?
Because I cannot tell you how incredibly aggravating it is to walk up and down 7 flights of stairs and try to do laundry that way.
Right.
Oh,
yeah.
wait.
Yeah, I
Because
forget.
Your laundry unit is you don't have a built-in one in the
No.
unit. You have to go all the way down to the.
So,
yeah,
a
that has to
typical-
be the first thing to change.
A typical laundry trip is a 30-pound thing of laundry because that's like the only real way to do it.
And like half of that is pockets because you got men's jeans.
So listen, I'm walking down the steps, loading up the laundry, right? Going back up, coming back down, putting into the dryer, going back up, coming back down, taking out of the dryer. And it's, I don't know if you've done it before, but fully dry laundry versus the before it's washed and dried, it feels completely different weight.
Yeah.
Especially on that last trip. It's like, holy shit, am I even going to be alive when I get to my door at the end of this? Like, it gets rough.
Honestly, that sounds like an unrealistic situation because when I lived in an apartment that had like you had to go to the laundromat or whatever, you had to dry the clothes twice because it was just not in service. So,
Oh, no. Here's the other kicker, by the way. Since they've never updated the washer and dryer, I also have to, until I found out that Whole Foods actually will give me quarters. It was a new thing to me because none of the stores were giving quarters because of COVID for a long time. I prior to last month, I was having to Uber to the bank to get quarters on a weekday, coming home and then
Vilos.
doing my laundry later, because
No.
it sucks that bad. Like,
Wow.
I've had
bro.
some progress, but within like I should be out of here within 5 months. So
I can't wait for that Blissen Up.
Man.
yeah, that
Or
Blissen
the
Up is
housewarming
going to be
party.
a whole thing, dude.
Do you know
Thanks
where
for the
you're
invite.
moving? Because, dude, I will tell you, after having places here with built-in washer dryer, that is non-negotiable to me.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly. And that's my plan. I have one apartment building that I want to go into. If I don't get into that one particularly, then they actually have branches in a lot of big cities that I intend to go into.
I'm just gonna
So
keep telling you to come to Seattle. You're gonna love it. There's a lot of stuff you like that is really
the
huge.
the only thing is that if I came to Seattle, I would have to change jobs because the money's just not there. Like, sorry, the motivation to the money is not there.
Well, yeah.
anymore.
If you were
I mean,
playing
Seattle,
Seattle,
is basically indie game the city, so I think you would like it there.
that's
that's
true.
true.
Also, maybe it's not a great time to work in the game industry. But if you're living in Seattle, you have to be working in Seattle too, because the cost of living here is too
Yeah.
high. The pay
Exactly.
is equal, but you can't be living here and making a non-Seattle wage.
Yeah, talk to me if I get a remote, like what is it, Redmond job. You know, if I get a Redmond job, because that's very particular companies that over there.
It is. Redmond and Bellevue are good. A friend of mine from Kansas City, she moved up here to Bellevue. She worked for a company that had a branch in Kansas City and here, and so she essentially worked for the same company. They paid her to move out here, which is like amazing.
That's awesome. Oh,
Yeah.
what a great deal.
Yeah. So now she's up here. She's great. Somebody who I never thought was going to be in my life again, and now we're good pals. It's awesome.
Aw. That could be you, Vilos.
It could be you, Vilos.
I mean, even though we see each other every week, at least.
I tell you,
You know.
according to her, the dating scene is exactly as bad here as it is in Kansas City. But
Well, you know what?
that's
But that's
just
because
life.
people are awful in general, so.
Yep, that's not
You're
going to
right.
get any better no matter where you go. So, but there's lots of great like games culture stuff here. I mean, there's just a lot of fucking stuff to do here, dude. Like, if you wanted to never leave the city, you'll never run out of stuff to do. Or if you never want to be in the city and only want to stay either in the burbs or go hiking and stuff, you could also do that and never go to the city. It's great.
Okay, I'm coming. Jeez.
Anyway, so PAX West next year? Question mark. That'll be the Blissen Up a year from now.
Honestly, even though it does time with my apartment, with getting the apartment, it might be this year that I can do that. So
Okay, I am really
I'm going to
serious.
save up immediately.
All I have is a couch to offer you guys.
That's okay. I'm a cat. I like the floor. It's fine.
Anyway, have we gone over our 2-minute allotment for Blissen Up?
oh yeah, just a little bit.
But I
Just a
really,
tiny bit.
I really enjoyed this though. Okay, so quality of life improvements for all of us, huh? Like, it's all on the up and up. I appreciate that. We've got a desk and a PC and a bunch of tea. With our powers combined, there's nothing we can't do.
Listen, that's actually just
Very
my
productive.
life.
Yeah.
Okay, well, let's see. So, some of those were game related, but this week we're going to talk about now playing. We're going to talk about one game apiece that we've each been playing. That's kind of difficult since we play a lot of games. Vilos, I recently discovered that you've beaten 16 games in 2024 as of this recording. How did you choose just one? You are going to be up first, so actually I will start with that as a real question. How did you choose the game that you're talking about this week?
Okay. And yeah, the good thing is that a lot of people helped me make this decision, actually. My game for now playing is Open Roads. Not only did it come out, like, as of this recording, like a week and a half ago or whatever, but our good friends at Demo Duo ended up getting it on the wheel
I love them.
for their show last week. And it just so happened that I already had it downloaded when their show that had the wheel had it play. And I'm like, you know what? I'm gonna play through it, and then I'm gonna watch the show, and I'm gonna help them out however I can. It's just one of those things that Reviews came out. It was very clearly as awesome as I hoped it would be. It's a visual novel plus walking sim, which is my bread and butter. Like, it's really close to JRPGs and Metroidvania in my heart. But Open Roads is only about a 3-hour game. And so
Road trip length.
I have quite a lot of views on it, but I'm going to try to make it shorter. The big thing here is that it's a very specific narrative that's told with a little bit of a refreshing polish on the genre of visual novel and walking sim, because it's a story of grief and how we actually know our family and know ourselves. It's a really good exploration of that. You are the main character who is 16, but is going through a specific ordeal because her grandma died. And because her grandma died, she lost the place that she was living in because her whole family was living with grandma. And grandma was a success. She was a writer. She was well known. She was one of those self-help type editorial columnists. So there's like a Dear Abby situation.
I was gonna say Ask Ruth. Is that real?
I think.
I feel like if it's not like a real life one, it's probably from like an animated show. But anyway, go on. Sorry.
It was one of those situations, and it makes a lot of great references throughout the beginning of the game as to what she would say to people, and it's really such a good introspective story, because at so many points, number one, the story starts in 2003, and guess what? I was 16 in 2003 and looking for college. Like,
Ooh.
it matched up perfectly with my life. There's a 9/11 reference in the game. Like, so many things happen in there that I'm just like, holy shit. Like, everything is reflective of my experience here. It's a wild story. A lot of great things happen. A lot of questions are answered. It's a really good little mystery. Because it starts you off with the whole thing that, grandma did some shit. Like, you never know what you may not know about your family or anybody else in your life, and it's something I think about on a daily basis. Anyway, very, very off topic. I'm not going to get there, but it was refreshing to have such a feel for the realism behind the narrative, and be so timely as far as matching up with my life. And then the presentation of it was two really, really good voice actors, good actors that happen to be voice actors here in Kerry Russell and Caitlin Dever, who everybody's seen somewhere before. They
right?
really brought a lot of life to the characters. Okay, so for those that don't know for sure,
Yeah, for my friends who
yeah,
don't know as much as me.
yeah, Kerry Russell is most well known for the character Felicity on the show Felicity, but also recently The Americans, the theater and movie Waitress. She's got some other current shows right now that I haven't personally watched that I can't really vouch for, but she's really great. Caitlin Dever. Like, her most recent movie, I believe, was Dear Evan Hansen. She was the love interest there. And she's going to be Abby in Last of Us Season 2. So everybody will see her there.
I still don't know who those people are.
You'll find out.
I will find out.
But yeah, two great actors that really put a lot into the roles of a mother and daughter. Just made it feel very real. And the art style is really cool. It's 2D characters in a very graphic novel-ish sort of art style that are put into a 3D world. So when most of the gameplay itself is walking sim, you're looking at stuff and just reading it, like 90% of the game. You'll look at a document, flip it over, read it, whatever. And as you're doing that, you can see like the character's hand in 2D doing the motions and stuff. It's really neat how it's presented, and it's just really quality. It's one of the greatest, self-contained 3-hour experiences I've had in a while, and I play a lot of short games, so I really can't recommend it enough. Got it all the way out that time. I really, really think that people should play it, whether they're, narrative people, like even puzzle game players would probably be into it just because of the level of mystery that's there. There's not a whole lot of choice to make. It's very linear. There's not really stuff you can do in particular, but the achievements are cool.
Even when the roads are open, they usually only go 2 different ways,
The illusion of choice.
You're right. And unfortunately, there is illusion of choice in this, because there are dialogue choices you can make, but they don't generally do much. The most that they do is open up particular paths that you were supposed to already go on anyway. You can just open something up a little sooner, perhaps, on a couple options. But at the end of the day, I 100%ed it in that 3 hours. I got all the achievements, no problem at all. But it's a really worthwhile experience, and it's on Game Pass right now. And it's only $20 on eShop and everywhere else if you want to actually straight up buy it.
Nice.
It's ironic that a game called Open Roads seems so linear.
Huh. Maybe that's what it's all about. The illusion of choice.
Like I said, it's a very specific narrative. That's what you go there for. You want to see a very particular story. It's a road story between a mother and daughter.
It's a road.
It's really heartfelt.
Oh no!
Gotcha.
Wow, but yes,
Gotcha.
That dealt psychic damage.
Your sanity bar just went up. Too many more of those, we're gonna be in trouble. Well,
That's
cool.
assuming I had sanity to begin with.
I thought you were doing pretty well for sanity after you built your desk. Maybe you had a buff or something. Confident.
Yeah, you're right.
Well, cool. Yeah, that's exciting. I really like the visuals that I've seen in this. There's a certain, seeing the old school animation that's almost an 80s style of animation. I don't know if the frame rate is lower in this because I've mostly only looked at stills and I haven't looked at the trailer in a little bit. But the in the picture that I'm showing that you sent me, lots of strong, solid colors and all this. You sort of saw some of that in the game Myth Force, which was super 80s Saturday morning cartoon inspired. Griftlands is another one by Clay that I cannot get enough. I love looking at those colors. Part of it is I've got eye issues to some extent, so really fine lines are sometimes hard for me to look at. So the beautiful, old, thick, solid colors of this older style of animation, big fan.
And that it actually may help with the eye thing too. Is that they actually don't? It's not fully animated on the cutscenes that you see the mother daughter image. They actually animate 5 to 10 frames. They don't even do the full range of motion. You'll see the static image and then you'll see the change. Mm-hmm. You'll see a change.
So kind of
just every few seconds you'll see a change.
What was that game that we played? That was
Scarlet Hollow.
I was thinking of the one where Team Chaos won. As Dust Falls. Is that what it was?
Oh yeah.
With Team Brian and Team Michelle or whatever.
It's similar, but even less animation.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah, they don't animate everything. You're not going to see full mouth movement. You'll see words every once in a while.
I'd love to go revisit that one.
Have a little bit to do with the slight incompleteness of the development period. There was some stuff that went on, but it's still a fully great immersive experience.
I knew that you said you're a tea person now, but I didn't expect to get tea about the game.
Sanity damage. Okay, well, that's Open Roads. Yeah, I'm excited to check that out. A 3-hour runtime is enough that I could reliably pick that up and actually play through it. Maybe complete a game this year, Cool. Let's see, who is developed by... This just says the Open Roads team. This is from Moby Games is the site I'm on. I assume they're the publisher. Am I wrong about that?
Oh, that's funny. It's like when BapBap was around and I think it was just developed by BapBap is what it was. Their studio was just called also BapBap.
Well, it's part of the T there. It's part of the T, and it's because I think it was the actual founder and potentially creative director that started it was kicked. It's a whole thing.
That's a lot pleasant, a lot more pleasant than the outcome I thought was going to be said.
Well, no, it was still not good, but that's why it's now the Open Roads team because it was initially a different thing.
You know, it's funny, well, funny with an asterisk, when game devs are like named after a person, or look at Overwatch when they named a character after a person, and then turns out that's a bad idea. Or The Escapist was in Sea of Stars, and they're like, turned out that was a bad idea. Oh my gosh, quit naming stuff after people. You know?
Except me. You can name anything after me.
Well, you have had a name change, so we don't even know what baggage you got away with, you know, with your
And you never will.
Well, sweet. Open Roads, you played it on Game Pass.
$20.
$20, okay. Cool. $20 for 3 hours. Reasonable. Looks cool. All right, well, Sid, let's jump over to you then.
Hey, that's me.
Hello.
That's who I am.
So you've definitely not been playing this on your new PC, because your new PC does not have any game clients installed yet.
Not as of this recording, but I aim to fix that when we are done with recording. Because I need my games, y'all. I'm getting the Jones. I need to scratch it. But no, this game actually is a game that I've played in the past on stream. I think it was last October that it has graced us for the first time, and it is called Battlecrush. And they recently did a closed beta, another beta test, that this time lasted a week. Like a whole week, 24-hour servers were active instead of like the timed week that they had. So at the first beta they had was like, I think, like 6 or 7 hours or something a day. But this time they had the servers open the whole time the period ran. So that was fun because it allowed us to really, really dive in and get to the nitty gritty of all the changes that they made, because they made a lot of changes, especially to how the game controlled, as far as like schemes. So it's either KBM, keyboard or mouse, or controller. And then they added 3 different schemes within that, which is the normal style, which is just WASD, another style, which is WASD without auto aim, and then another style, which is MOBA style. So QWER, and then right click for movement and things like that. Those are all just keyboard, obviously, because none of those things exist on a controller, except the A, I guess, the A button. But so they did change a lot of that. They did a lot of balance reworks with some of the champions. Some of them function differently. So it was a really good chance to really, really dive in and see, what it was all about. And this time, I don't know if this was different than last time, but there was crossplay between Steam and mobile versions, because it was either you could play on the Steam or on the mobile, but they don't have cross progression. So while there was cross play this time, you couldn't play, like, have an account on both Steam and mobile that was the same and linked. And that was because I think this time they were testing, like stress testing servers specifically in the regions. And maybe I think that like caused some issues or something. So basically that was that. There were no special modes like the solo brawl modes available, but there was like the dual modes available, so people can 1v1, or they could do the regular team up as a team of 3 and then go into the battle royale mode. And this time the Switch still we didn't see it on the Switch at all. And that's so ironic to me, because that was where anybody like who knew about the game pretty much first heard about it, because during that Nintendo Direct, it was one of those last like Nindy features, which is weird to say because it's done by NCSoft, right? Who are responsible for Guild Wars 2, Blade and Soul. It's one of those.
You named so many words just now that could be like 20 different games.
Well, I mean, Guild Wars 2 was very definitive. Like, I knew that was something, but I just can't remember the name of this other one. It's kind of like a Silk Road-esque, Black Desert-esque kind of game, I think. Blood and Soul?
Blade and Soul.
Blade and Soul. Okay, so I was right the third time. So it's weird to say that it's like an indie sort of affair, but it definitely feels like one. Especially with like the mobile focus, kind of like Smash Legends or BAP also kind of had a mobile focus too. So it's like one of those games where you can equally play on Steam and mobile and not feel any difference in performance or enjoyment. Mm-hmm. Still waiting on the Switch though. And I think when they finally release that spring, quote unquote, it'll finally come out on Switch, but we just won't know anything about its performance, unfortunately. But a week was still long enough to figure out, all the new changes, learn all the new items they added. And it was also long enough for me to climb to the top 5 in the entire country. I am a top 5 player. Thank you very much. In the whole region.
Heck yeah.
Yeah. So if you have any questions when the game releases, please come see me because I know everything.
I mean, top in the world, you're actually the person I would go to. Well, I mean, obviously you'd be the person I'd go to, but I mean, top in the world.
Because I'm already here. Yeah.
Right.
Well, in the country, I don't know where, like how to see the other, because the only other region that really had a server per se was Europe.
Mm-hmm.
So there was people were on the NA leaderboard or the EU leaderboard. There were like Latin American servers, but they were tied to the North American servers, and there were Australian players and things like that, but they were tied to like there wasn't like an Oceania server.
Man, I genuinely wonder what it's like to play in Australia on servers that aren't dedicated there. Like, I wonder what that looks like.
Like 200 something ping, because there were a lot of people who played DKO, and when there wasn't an Oceania server, and like I would see them, like I'd be watching their streams or whatever, and I would see the ping number. It's just atrocious. I wouldn't recommend it.
Yeah, that's...
I do think there was a Korean server, because as a game that's developed by NCSoft, who owns they're based in Korea, and they own the Korean baseball team, which features in the game as the 2 dinosaur characters. You might see them on the screen every once in a while.
Whoa, you just said a lot. I have so many questions. Back this up. NCSoft, first of all, owns a baseball team?
Yes, they're called the NC Dinos, and their mascots are Dondi, which is a short blue T-Rexy sort of looking thing, right? And you'll see him on the map. I think of the video somewhere around. You'll see him. And then their other mascot is Sari, who's like this big buff brontosaurus who has no business looking like that. And Dondi is a melee character who attacks with his baseball bat. He can reflect projectiles and has super armor when he dances around doing his little mascot dance. And Sari is a ranged baseball pitcher. So he attacks by throwing baseballs at these, Greek gods and Arthurian pantheon legends, and then, the dinosaurs. It's a blast. It's a lot of fun.
Okay, they are pretty cute dinosaurs, though.
They're so cute, but Sari does not have the business. Like, seriously, why? Seriously. Y'all already know my penchant.
Okay, his character profile says, "I'm the swollest pitcher around."
Like, literally.
Is he wrong?
I don't know. I don't watch enough baseball to contest that.
I mean, he does not look like a baseball player. I'll say that.
Oh my goodness. Well, that cracks me up. That now I want to learn more about that whole thing. Korea's like the way that Korean culture handles games in general is just so different than it is here in the US. Like the fact that there's a baseball team involved, the fact that esports has there's a section of the government dedicated to esports, right? Like
there's like what's it called? Curriculum. They go to school for it.
They do?
There's curriculum for esports in South Korea.
Hey, Vilos, are you moving to Korea? Because
I mean, actually, I would for a lot of reasons, but yeah.
You're like, Seattle's pretty far.
I mean, the cat girls though, like.
I could find me one out there, guaranteed.
You gotta unlock the battle pass for that. I think work your way up.
Which they do feature.
Yeah, I gotta grind for sure.
Oh.
Yes, you do. They're like, oh, Vilos got kicked out of Korea because he was grinding in the esports cafe.
Oh no!
But they didn't tell him it was the wrong kind. Anyway, so Battlecrush is remind me, because I'm not poking fun. You genuinely play a lot of games that look like this that either just came out or aren't even publicly available yet. So remind me where Battlecrush stands on the timeline of release. Is this game in 1.0?
This game should be, they're aiming for spring is what they've been saying. Just generic spring. Since we're already in the midst of spring, I'm assuming that means at the end of the spring season. So like, what would that be? June? Like June?
It would have to be by early June. Yeah.
Like late May, early June is what I'm assuming. Hopeful me says like the end of April. That's hopeful, because I mean they learned a lot from this. Like I still see what they're talking about in like the Discord, because they're very active in there. It seems that they're taking a lot of the feedback to heart. They're making a lot of changes and things like that. And so at the rate that they're operating, I would say maybe late April. But at the same time, if they're doing late May, early June, that might leave time for another test, like a final stress test. like X Defiant is doing, because they've pushed their date again to do like a stress test before their final release. So I'm looking forward to both that and the release of Battlecrush, so I could be, keep my title.
As you do. Well, cool. I look forward to seeing more of that probably on your stream, twitch.tv/Obsydianyte, with 2 Ys,
Yeah.
and not where you think.
Oh, you beat me to it.
Yep. Yeah, excited to see more like that. What's the next game that's going to be on your list? Just briefly, is there another game like this they've got your sights on in the next month or two?
Like on my radar? Well, there's a game that I meant to test over the last weekend, but I couldn't because, Calliope was still being born and, infused with all of the programs and whatnot, called Ascendant. I believe Ascendant.com is the full name of it. And it is an extraction shooter that seems to be like really leaning into like 80s funny comediness, because the trailer alone like mimics like those old sitcom like intros where everybody's like doing a thing mundanely, like da 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 da. Oh, it's me, played by blah blah blah. You know what I mean? So
Yep.
That's on my list for the future. I'm hoping they do another test soon, because they only did a 2-day long one for 6 hours each. Project Loki is also on my radar, which I've gotten into. They're going to be doing some more playtests soon, and Project Loki is another MOBA Royale. I would say it's more akin to League of Legends than it is to like BAP or Battle Royale, so it's not as cartoonish. It's more serious, serious, quote unquote, as far as aesthetics go. And it has really interesting mechanics I'm looking forward to exploring as well. And lastly, I want to check out Predecessor, which is a spiritual successor to the third-person over-the-shoulder MOBA Paragon.
Nice.
In fact, I think it's just Paragon with a new name. Like that's
really?
how spiritual
I was
successor
going to say,
it is.
I thought Paragon actually like released.
Well, it did, and then it was like, closeted, and then it was Faust for a while. Faust, I think, is what it was. And then Faust was closeted, and now we have Predecessor. So this is like the third iteration of the game. You can play it for free right now on Steam. And that's pretty much that on that. But those are the games that are on my radar. I'm really looking forward to Predecessor, because I want to use it as a benchmark for Calliope, because it's very, very shiny, almost like Godfall shiny, if y'all remember that game. So I'm looking forward to and trying that out for sure.
Is Godfall the game that was terrible?
Yeah, but very, very particle shiny.
It was very shiny.
Yeah, super duper resource heavy and stuff. So that's why, because Predecessor reminds me of that resource wise. That's why I'm looking forward to. Well, also it's a MOBA, which I enjoy, and it's free. Tegan, I know you like MOBAs because you're playing League a lot. So you want to learn this game with me?
I need to. Yeah.
We'll be learning together.
I
I'm
have
down.
already seen ads for that.
Okay, and that's Ascendant.
And that's as good as saying that you'll play with us.
That's what I heard.
Oh no, I'm talking about Predecessor.
Predecessor, right?
Yeah, Ascendant.com is the extraction shooter.
Okay, well, dope. I'm down. I'm down to check that out. So cool. Well, that's Battlecrush, the game that Vilos and I have been playing lately. We gave it one shot. We played about an hour and a half of Evil West. This game is, it's derivative to just like say it's half this and half that, but it is very similar to Remnant from the Ashes and God of War. That's how it feels to me.
And Gears of War.
Okay. I was focusing more on the melee stuff, but I guess if I think of it as a range,
You bash people and you shoot them. Yeah.
and you shoot them, that's true.
Almost the exact same way, just no cover.
Just no cover. Well, the whole game is cowboys versus vampires. It's roughly 1900 in an alternate history. And let's see. So what did we do? This is a solo or a co-op game. We both jumped in. We separately played the tutorial and then played the first real level, quote unquote, where you're able to join up in co-op. I'll get it out of the way real quick that there is definitely some jank. Nothing like game breaking that ruined my fun or anything, but Vilos and I are patient people with a lot of knowledge, and it still took quite a few tries for us to understand that when you load up the game, it says like campaign for solo, multiplayer, and then a bunch of other stuff, options, stuff like that. If both players click into multiplayer, and one sends the other person an invite. If you're in that multiplayer screen, you cannot accept a multiplayer invite. You can only accept a multiplayer invite from the main menu. We only found that out through trial and error and a bunch of patience. So I'm glad we played this game because I had a lot of fun and I do recommend it. But if we were people who weren't as patient and knowledgeable as we were, we wouldn't have even been able to group up. Like I would have been ready.
We know someone like that.
I know a lot of someone's like that. People don't have time to screw around with a game that doesn't work, you know? Yeah. And we only wanted to play co-op. I only wanted to play co-op. And we're going to wait to play this with each other. So we'll play this a few sessions over the course of a handful of sessions. Time to beat on Game Pass, which is how we played it, is about 10 hours for a basic run, more like 15 maybe for completionist. Game's neat. So you start off, all you have is, I mean, your character is like part of this institute that hunts presumably vampires. I don't know if there's other stuff out there. I haven't gotten far enough to see that, but your character is just Van Helsing adjacent. Has all these tools that are wearable. So he's got like, you know, a gun, a couple, like a revolver and a rifle that you unlock in the tutorial, as well as like this hammer claw weapon thing that beats enemies up and also knocks them around. And you start the game, you derail this train by blowing up the bridge, and you do a little bit of traversal, but the traversal really does itself. It's not like God of War where you like look at someone and then press X to jump. You pretty much just hold forward and it does it, which really isn't that a big deal. It wasn't what I was expecting, but it wasn't a big deal. You've got like a whip that you use to occasionally pull stuff down so you can like step across a river, or you can use it to kind of rope swing a little bit. But this game made me immediately think of God of War because you're doing these combos with melee where you're chaining attacks. You can either just keep chaining the light attack, or you can knock enemies into the air and then jump up and smash them down, all cinematic like. There are some basic enemies and then some like heavier like two-handed, you know, these abominations that are swinging these huge axes around, who you've got to like kick them to interrupt their attack. If you just use regular attacks, it's not going to do anything. But this is a big AAA title. It came out at the end of 2022, which surprised me because I remember seeing about this a long time ago and totally forgot about it. So when this just hit Game Pass, it may as well have been a brand new game to me. So when we loaded it up, there was that little bit of jank I mentioned, but overall felt pretty good. It's pretty linear, but there are lots and lots of hidden lore items and gold off the beaten path. So it's constantly rewarding you for looking around to try to discover stuff that's hidden in the corners, which I love. I love a game that like doesn't like, if it gives you places to explore, there's always something to reward you. So not only is there that, but when I played the tutorial, I was like, oh, I'm pretty sure I discovered most of the gold, and I only discovered like 2/3 of it. So that's encouraging to me that I should be looking even harder to find extra stuff. But that feedback loop felt real good. Another thing, I'm just narrating this kind of as this video's playing, but there are items you can use the environment to kill enemies. So of course you can like push them off cliffs and into water, but there are these big old death traps. They almost look like the inside of like an Iron Maiden. That are just around for some reason. I don't know what their practical purpose is, but you can knock enemies into the air and then punch them across the map into these things, and they'll just die in one hit. But it's big and flashy and gory, and it makes, it's a real power fantasy in a way that made me really happy that I was playing on normal difficulty and not on like an actual hard difficulty. Vilos, anything I've missed so far?
No, I mean, that's it. I mean, it's very satisfying. It's very simple, very satisfying. The gunplay is good, and it's the appropriate level of goriness and schlock value,
Yep.
I'm sorry, schlock?
Yeah, schlock. That's what you get when you're talking about like a B movie, a gory B movie. That's a schlock fest, all right?
Okay.
You can look it up. I mean, it's a thing. It's a word.
Okay, I mean,
Put it in the
I don't contest.
dictionary.
I don't contest that it's a word. I just have never heard it before, so I was curious as to what it meant.
Well,
So.
this is the beginning
Schlock.
of the schlocktionary. Schlocktionary? Wow, that's a hard word to say.
I don't think I want to read
Yeah.
that. Considering its definition, it sounds
Yeah.
like the Necronomicon or something. Like,
Yeah, the second you open the book, bad shit starts to happen.
Right.
I knew it was the developer. It's the developer's Flying Wild Hog. I knew it was the developer of the reimagined Shadow Warrior series, but I didn't realize it's the developer of Truck to Yomi, which I freaking love and played through. So, yeah, they're really good at what they do.
I'm
Yeah.
really sad that you guys didn't have any like funny jank, like cowboys T-posing while you're like fighting vampires. Like, this town ain't big enough for the two of us.
Well, I mean, I guess one of the funny things that we did notice was that you're both playing the same character in co-op,
Yeah.
which makes no sense because
There's
you start the game with another guy.
Yeah, like the cutscenes show you and another guy. So we went into it. We explicitly said, "Oh, this is nice. It's cool that there are two characters, so we'll each get to play one." No, that's not how that works. So it is
That's really
silly.
funny.
I've got a great screenshot of us looking out onto just absolute desolation, but it's obviously identical character models standing next to each other, like a very unique looking character, just two of them. So. Yeah, so you can like finish off enemies when they get really low health, and if you do that, you get a health drop. So that's the first game I saw that reliably did that was Doom 2016. So like you get an enemy real low and they kind of flash, and you walk up and do some cool finisher move that's specific to that enemy type. So those guys with the big heavy two-hand axe, you knock the axe out of their hand and then swing it at them.
Oh, that is very
cool.
God of War.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So same with the punch where you knock him into the air and then knock him across the map. It's like straight God of War. But it's great. I mean, I went into this, I didn't have super high expectations because I also didn't hardly remember what this game was. Because I remembered of it, but even when we were loading it up to play, I didn't look up a trailer. I didn't look up reviews or anything. I went in totally blind. So this was a nice surprise. I mean, if you're like us and you have Game Pass where this is just in your library now, whether you'd play solo or co-op, I strongly recommend picking this game up. $40 on sale right now, normally $50. That sounds closer to right. I mean, this is a full AAA looking game. I'm surprised it's would be $50 for 10 hours of gameplay, but I'm still not mad about it. There's quality stuff here, and the fun, like, sort of goofy, I mean, maybe schlocky is the right word here, co-op style really reminds me of what I liked about Remnant, where it's like super serious in some ways, but it's also like over the top enough to not be serious again.
I will say that Evil West right now is on sale, 65% off on Steam for $17.49.
$17.49?
Wow.
And you can get the Evil West bundle, which I guess includes maybe a DLC, for literally $1 more.
Well, I hope we release this episode soon because that's a great
Yep,
deal.
that ends on the 19th for anyone interested.
Well, maybe we have to release this next week then. But this game rules, guys. We played the tutorial level, which is like 20 minutes long. Ballpark.
Yeah. Yeah. Just about it.
And then you can unlock the co-op on the first real level. But yeah, it's good stuff. So you've got the combos with your melee weapon. You can fan the hammer with your revolver to sort of stun them, but really just get some quick damage in while you're moving around. And then you unlock a rifle that you can actually aim. The game likes to do certain things like when enemies are about to fire a ranged attack at you, there's a big visual, like a big flash, like a circle that closes, and then they fire their weapon, which is something.
I love games that do that.
Me too.
Like Suicide Squad, Kill the Justice League or whatever had that a lot with like some of the stronger enemies, especially.
Mm-hmm.
So that it gave you like notice like, oh, I should probably get ready to parry or something like that,
Yeah.
And I think the Arkham games may have done that as well. I think.
Yeah, it's such a great accessibility tool to just be like, look, there are 9 enemies on my screen. Please let me know when there's obviously a big wind-up ranged attack. Like, my character would be able to tell, probably. And it's nicer that I, as the player, am able to handle it without feeling overwhelmed. So there's that, and then it seems like there will probably be a boss at the end of each level. I don't know that for a fact, but 2 for 2. And the lore is interesting. Like genuinely interesting, and when you pick up notes off the ground, they're vocalized. There is a voice actor for the character that it's talking about who will read it out loud, which not only is great for fleshing out those characters, but that's so much easier for me because as someone who loves the written lore in games, I also love multitasking. That's why I like podcasts, because if I wanted to, I could like open up the lore and then look at something else, like something else on my computer, or I could check my phone, which like don't mistake that as not being interested in the game. But I just love being able to listen to things and not always have to read them. So it's the equivalent of audio logs that lots of games use. I always prefer an audio log over the exact same thing that's just written. So yeah, there's just a lot of little things in here that they took like good things from a lot of different games, and it's melded in a fun environment. I mean, cowboys versus vampires, heck yeah.
I mean, the story is very much like, for anybody that hears it, I'm sure they're going to instantly click with it. But it's basically like playing the early 2000s Van Helsing Hugh Jackman movie. That's it. That's the story.
Yep.
There was a Hugh Jackman Van Helsing?
Oh, you should check it out.
Yes, it was beautiful.
I know about the one, what was it? Van Helsing Legends or something with like the off-brand Wish.com Orlando Bloom. What was it? Luke something?
I know what you're talking about. Yeah, that was one of the fake Dracula movies. Luke Evans.
Luke Evans, thank you.
Yeah.
I mean, he's still handsome. Don't get me wrong.
No,
like he might
Van
be
Helsing.
but...
Van Helsing was a huge blockbuster when it came out, but it was known to be quote unquote bad. All right, but it was bad just like the League of Extraordinary Gentlemen Sean Connery movie was bad. It's good bad.
Which appropriate.
Like The Room.
Well, because they're both. Well, the first two of those three are both like period pieces too, where like a lot of period pieces, more traditional ones, I check out of because I just can't relate to them at all. And I don't particularly like the way that the Victorian speak works. Like, I'm just not that interested. But
literally both the movies I mentioned have the same bad guy actor.
Oh,
the
really?
exact same one.
Really?
Yeah.
I love that.
Forsooth.
Because they aren't too serious. Like they turn that whole thing on its head and are like, what if we lived in a world that's supposed to be like proper or, have certain expectations of etiquette and stuff, and if we just flipped that completely and just laughed at it. But yeah, I mean, I could talk a little bit more about it, but that's mostly my piece on it. That's Evil West. What else can I tell you? Developed by Flying Wild Hog and published by Focus Entertainment. Yeah, it just hit Game Pass a few weeks ago, and late 2022 was its original release. So, it's fun stuff. Let's see. Oh, completion is just 21 hours, but yeah, main story is still 10 hours. So,
Gotta find that gold.
So strongly recommend. Seems like it would be equally fun on solo. Some games are like much better in co-op. And this was fun in co-op, but I feel like it would also be very fun in solo too. So, yeah, so that's my piece. So what do we have? We had Open Roads, Battlecrush.
Yeah.
I want to say Crushers for some reason. Battlecrush and Evil West. 3 very different games from each other. And I love that. So, cool. We'll be back again with another episode of what I was going to say what we've been playing. It's now called Now Playing, everybody. Where we play so many games that it's hard to pick which ones we're going to talk about. Which just means I think we just have to record more often. That's all there is to it.
That's it.
You know. If we're going to catch up with Vilos, we need to record at least 16 more episodes in the next few weeks.
Y'all, I'm going to be at 20 in like 2 weeks. I'm not even kidding.
I love it. I'm going to complete 2 games this whole year, and I'm going to have to work really hard to make that happen.
I'm not going to complete any because there are always games as a service, competitive games that have battle passes and always have coming out with something new.
Oh, we still got to get you on Showtime at some point.
Showtime.
Princess Peach.
Oh my God, Showtime, Princess Peach Showtime. I can't believe I still, listen, it's been on people have been talking to my Discord, why haven't you played this yet? And I'm just like, There's so many betas and everything I have to like. But actually, I think I'm in a break period now between betas. So look forward to that soon, TM. And then X Defiant finally announces their stress test. God, wouldn't that be something?
Heck yeah. Well, if you want to keep up with what all of us are doing, join our Discord at discord.gg/partyinviteshow. You can find events, conversations, news without a doom scroll feed. You can play, watch, and chat and share the joy of video games with us and many other nice, wonderful people. Yeah, you can catch us on Twitch as well, YouTube, and we have a website, partyinvite.games. But I've been your host, Tegan. I almost forgot my name here. I was looking at Vilos, and I'm like, what name am I supposed to say next? I'm fried, guys. I'm fried. No, I've been your host, Tegan. I've been joined by Vilos and Obsydianyte. And we'll see you again very soon. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Bye.